Dear friends, it's good to be with you. I recently had a long conversation with Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba, and it went against protocol and became a very personal conversation. He was in bad spirits. He told me, I hardly made it to the phone call today, and I asked why, and he told me, because there was a siren in Kiev. They moved me to a shelter, and I was not sure there would be a phone line for us to speak on. For a moment, there was silence. Then I told him, Dmytro, a year ago, in May 2021, I was in a shelter. Hamas shot missiles at Tel Aviv, and they exploded above my home. I sat with my kids in the shelter, and we asked ourselves, when will this end? And exactly a year ago, I told him, you sat in a cafe in Kiev and said to yourself, all those people in the Middle East are crazy. They are wasting their lives on unnecessary wars. I pray to God that next year, not me, not Dmytro, not anyone, anywhere, will have to sit in a shelter with their kids. But prayers are not enough. We have to do something. This past year has reminded us that the biggest struggle in our world is not complicated. It is simple. There is a struggle between good and evil, between terror and violence on one side and freedom and democracy on the other. Many thought this battle was over, that democracy was a given and the only moral questions which remained for us to address were those of race and gender, economy and society. And then we received a painful and violent reminder that sometimes there is no choice. If we want the democratic values we believe in to exist, we have to protect them. And sometimes we have to use force to protect them. Israel has dealt with all of this from all of its 74 years with the help of close friends like you. Our great achievement is that even under constant assault of terror and hatred, of ancient anti-Semitism disguised as new criticism, we maintain our values. Relentless terror, the Iranian threat, missiles fired at our homes, they never caused us to give up on freedom of expression, the rule of law, our democracy, or on liberal values of freedom of religion and defending minority rights. In difficult times, democracy always seems like a privilege. Facing an external threat, it is always tempting to put our values aside until the danger passes. That the important thing is to defend ourselves at any price. That is a dangerous mistake. Because if you put your values aside once, you will not be able to go back to them. Values and principles are not meant for easy times, but to be our compass in the hardest of times. What protects Israel from our enemies and has made us a military, technology, and cultural success story are our values, our ability to maintain a moral code and our democracy under any condition. And I know you share those values, and you fight for them alongside us. Today I want to recognize two champions of those values. The first, my friend, David Harris. Few leaders have had David's impact as an advocate and visionary, and Israel and the Jewish people are better off because of your years of dedicated leadership. David, on behalf of the people of Israel, thank you. The second is a close personal friend and partner, AJC's incoming CEO, my friend Ted Deutsch. Genuine friendships are rare in politics, but Ted is a genuine friend. It is a friendship forged around our shared values, ideals, and commitment to Israel and the Jewish people. I am confident that under his leadership, AJC will continue to be driving force in the Jewish world. I look forward to working with him. My friends, our new government in Israel is concluding its first year. This is not just a government, but an exciting political experiment which says we believe that even people who do not agree can work together for the common good. And more than that, we believe that our greatest test is not reaching agreements, but managing disagreements. I am not willing to live in a country in which families are torn apart because of politics, a country in which I have no friends who think differently. There are many in our government who think differently than me. They are my friends and partner. We do not put our ideas aside, but rather we fight for them with the understanding that we have a common goal that is bigger than ourselves. This goal includes you. It includes the diaspora. We were a globalized nation long before everyone invented the interconnected world. Every Jew in the world is connected with one another, and therefore every Jew stands in solidarity with one another. Sometimes I discuss this with my non-Jewish friends. It makes them curious. They want to understand our connection, and I tell them, I have 3 kids, and I have to confess, I love my children more than yours. Does that make me a bad person? They tell me no. It is the same thing I tell them. Jews around the world, some of whom I have never met, are my family. I do not hate other families, but I love mine more. Judaism began its journey through the creation of a covenant between Abraham and God. It exists to this day thanks to the covenant between us, between all of the world's Jews. This covenant is based on our shared story. More than we are the sons or daughters of a genetic stock, we are the sons or daughters of one story, the story of a journey towards a world in which we live together. We can live far from one another, but we are always on our way to one another. I wanted to speak with you today in order to reaffirm the government of Israel's commitment to you, American Jews. The commitment is simple. You are my family. I love you. Thank you for listening.